All right, baby. Here we go. All right, y'all. Welcome to another Friday night episode of the Self-Made Sports Network podcast. As always, I am SJ23, better known as Slim, joined as always by my co-host and I would say the real host of the show, JT.
Is that right? Is that right?
How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm ready for a nice relaxing weekend. It's kind of we got just a couple more weekends left before it's football season and the weekends get a little busier. So just looking forward to kicking back a little bit.
Man, we got one more week until football season.
Yeah. Well, two more until I gotta haul my ass up to Jack Trice. But yes.
You looking forward to that game?
Yeah,
I mean, either nervous for that.
Well, are you talking about the Ireland game?
No, I'm talking about the
South Dakota game.
South Dakota game.
South Dakota. Yeah, see, people don't even know who they're playing, so no, I'm not nervous about it. I've seen some people say that it could be a tough one, and I mean, I don't know shit about South Dakota, but they seem like a pretty decent FCS team. But no, I mean, I think it would be disrespectful to the brand to be worried about that game.
I don't know. You always got to worry.
Disrespectful to the process.
I mean, you always got to worry with the clones. You never know how they're gonna. I guess we're gonna see what they're made of.
Anytime we don't play you and I is a good time.
I mean, we're gonna find out what they're made of here in about 7 days, and we're gonna find out pretty quickly what they look like. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of that's probably the first time in a really long time that their first game is a real test, like a legit game.
I think you'd have to go all the way back to when they played what was that, Florida State back in Arrowhead.
Yeah, well, that was a long ass time ago.
I think 2002 is when that was.
Was that? Yeah, because that was the Seneca was in game.
Yeah, that was the end game, and then later that season was the run.
Yep.
Good times.
Yep.
Good times.
Very good times.
All right. Well, what do you want to jump into first here? I'm looking at your notes. I got some notes. I'm gonna let you go ahead and pick first.
Yeah, I mean, so I figured since we're talking about Iowa State, I know it's not in order. I figured we might as well start off with our Iowa State talk. Kind of what I was thinking is that we I've kind of have some notes here for positional breakdown, just kind of going position by position and seeing what we think the Cyclones are looking like at each level. You cool with that?
Yep, I'm ready for it. I'm interested to see what you got.
Okay, let's get it pulled up here. So first I wanted to talk about the defensive backs. There was a little bit of reporting that was done by Jake Brend, formerly of WI, actually got hired on by Cyclone Fanatic, which, side note, that's a little bit of a coup there. The local media.
Iowa Sportscaster of the Year, by the way.
Yes, Iowa Sportscaster of the Year, but you're looking at a local media brand taking away a sportscaster from a main kind of news station. Anyway, he had said that he had posted an interview by our old friend Dion Broomfield, Cyclone from back in the day, Cyclone's cornerbacks coach, and he had said that essentially that Jeremiah Cooper is being a lot more. He's going to be used more than just at safety. It sounds, I mean, just kind of what I've heard on Cyclone Fanatic is that Cooper's going to be playing a lot of cornerback this year, so that's kind of interesting. I think that's kind of a move that benefits both Cooper and the Cyclones. Obviously, when you look at Cooper's chances at the next level, you probably get a little more value out of being a cornerback than being a safety. So that's the one thing that I wanted to talk about is kind of how that defensive back room is looking. Certainly, they lost quite a bit. They lost Porter, they lost Purchase, they lost Freiler, they lost. I think they even lost Verdone. He's playing for the Falcons now.
They did.
So,
yep.
But they have plenty of guys coming back. You look at Cooper. I don't know if you actually know. I guess Benny Nagoye, the wide receiver.
Yes, he converted over.
Yeah, he converted over. He's playing cornerback now. I guess he's been a little bit banged up, so I don't know if he'll play. I think that's actually contributed to this decision for Cooper to play cornerback. And then of course you kind of have the stalwart of that backfield besides Cooper, and that's Jontez Williams.
Both by the way, Thrope watch list candidates to start the season.
Yeah, so certainly it's Jontez and Cooper that are going to lead that backfield, and it sounds like both of them are going to be playing cornerback, and then obviously you have a lot of pretty decent safeties back there. You've got the kid from Ankeny, Jamison Patton.
Yep.
I think what's his name, Kyjon Coleman Cummings Coleman or something like that. There's a couple of young guys in that safeties room who should be pretty good. So. I guess, what do you think about Cooper switching over to cornerback and what it means for that defense?
I'm not really concerned about it. I think he's proven that he can play basically anywhere on the field. Darian Porter went from being a wide receiver to not starting for 3 years to becoming a safety to a cornerback to now he's a starting NFL quarterback, at least as far as the early Raiders depth chart comes out. So I think Campbell and Haycock have done a really good job of finding guys to be able to plug them in where they can play with their athleticism, and they're going to try and get the most out of these guys.
Yeah, that's one interesting thing that's kind of already going to hit us with a tangent here, but just the track record that this staff has of pretty seamlessly changing positions. You mentioned Porter. We've got Ngoyi.
We can go as far back as
Joe Lanning.
Yep.
And I think there was another guy. I just had it on the tip of my tongue who changed positions. I don't remember, but anyway, that's kind of interesting. That just the track record that this staff has with changing positions. But yeah, I'm not too worried about Cooper switching over to cornerback. I feel like maybe he fell off a little bit this past year. Had kind of I don't think it was technically his sophomore year, but kind of like a sophomore slump after he kind of broke out there 2 years ago, and maybe he'll be able to bounce back a little bit more. And again, not that he really fell off. It's just that I know they had a lot of injuries on that defense. A lot of guys were stretched trying to cover different responsibilities.
Well, I was gonna use that to lead into the linebackers here. Losing 85% of your linebackers, having to play 2 freshmen and a couple of walk-ons last year. That kind of takes everybody outside of their element as far as what they're used to and what they're capable of. A lot of guys answered the bell, but they're coming back totally healthy, at least to start the season. And I know we got our boy Caleb Bacon back in there, which
so that's
sorely missed. Oh no, you're good. Go for
right. It. Right, yeah, and just kind of like you mentioned, I remember this is something that kind of just general the Cyclone community talked about last year, is that while it kind of sucks to have all those linebackers out, it was just crazy. Those linebackers are dropping like flies. It all comes back around the next year because you have such an experienced room since everybody's healthy now. Like you mentioned, you have Caleb Bacon, and it sounds like he hasn't fallen off at all. You have Brzezina coming back. You have Will McLaughlin, Carson Willich is still there, and a couple of those smaller guys. So there's a chance that linebacking group could be the best unit on that defense, and that kind of brings you to the last third of that defensive unit, and that's the defensive line. Obviously, you've got Dom Orange, the big citrus, coming back. He's going to be kind of the stalwart there, but I feel like the defensive line underperformed a little bit. Now, granted, and I'm not an X's and O's guy, but it seems like in Haycock's defense, it's not always really built on sacks. I mean, granted, you only have 3.
You got to get pressure though.
You have to get more pressure, and I think some of these defensive linemen that they've been putting out there really hasn't been able to replicate the success that Will McDonald had. They really haven't had a guy that's been able to get in the backfield since Will McDonald. So, and like I said, I don't know if that's really not in that defense. That's not something that the nose tackle Dom Orange is going to be able to do. But it'll be interesting to see kind of who comes out alongside Dom Orge. I think there's Isiagu still there. I think there's a transfer that they got. I'm forgetting his name, but it'll be interesting to see who kind of emerges.
Well, we need another. They need another Jaquan Bailey or another Will McDonald. They need one of those guys that can bring that pressure off the edge that can, kind of make teams uncomfortable.
Yeah, so they need to find somebody else, because just I don't think, I mean, Dom Orge is really good, and he's gonna be really good at stopping the run. He's gonna be really good at plugging holes, but just the way that defense works, I don't know if that'll necessarily be him that's getting the sacks.
No, I don't think it will be. I think he's kind of like a Vita Vea almost.
Yeah, he's just there to kind of plug everything up, cause a lot of distress on the lineup. I'm trying to see if I can quickly find this transfer that they got, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to come up with it. But yeah, that's kind of what the defensive line is looking like. They need to bounce back a little bit, and again, kind of like the same thing with the cornerbacks. It's hard to be too tough on them because when you have those injuries at the linebackers, it's just you're having to borrow from everybody.
Well, and then you're having to run around, cover for an extra 3 or 4 seconds. And I mean, you can play 5 seconds of great defense, but that extra 2 or 3 seconds, sometimes it's tough. It's tough to be able to be a lockdown for 7 or 8 seconds, especially if you get no help up front. So.
Right. Exactly. So that's kind of what the defense is looking like. I mean, the defense.
Before we move on, I just want to say, in Haycock we trust.
Absolutely, yeah. And Haycock, that's the defense will be some semblance of good. It's not going to be a bad defense, but it's just kind of curious as to how elite that defense is going to be. But yeah, like you said, in Haycock we trust. We have no concerns there. But I'm still trying to find this defense. I should stop trying to find this defensive lineman. Anyway. That's the defensive side of the ball. Hopping over to the other side of things, looking at the offensive line. And I don't know about you, but I feel like this is probably the best that we've felt just generally about how that offensive line is going to look. It's not a unique problem that teams have had, especially at the college level, of not having a whole lot of trust in their offensive line, but they've made a lot of investments in that offensive line. In some cases, literally, I really like the hire that they made of Ryan Clanton a couple years ago to grab him out from under from Cedar Falls at UNI.
Turned Jordan Travis into a 5th-round pick.
Yeah, they were able to produce a draft pick there. And you had some guys leave last year, but I think they're starting to reap the benefits of that patience that they've had at the offensive line of really growing that from scratch. So I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty good about the offensive line. How about you?
To me, it's just kind of a crapshoot every year. You obviously you got guys that are coming back that you think could do some big things, and then you obviously in college you always got a lot of unknowns. So it's just kind of it's so hard in college anymore to, know exactly what you got coming in, especially with the way everything kind of shakes out anymore. So to me, it's just kind of wait till week 1, see what everything looks like, and then, you kind of go from there, and you kind of really figure out where you are.
Yeah, and I believe it's Jalen Travis, just in case anybody corrects you on that.
Sorry, everybody.
Travis. Yeah, playing for the Indianapolis Colts. But yeah, feeling pretty good about the offensive line. Not a whole lot to say there. I think next up, I had the tight ends on my list, and that's where I might actually disagree a little bit with how good that room is. I was surfing the Cyclone Fanatic boards and just from listening to Chris Williams, he's very high on this tight end room, and I guess I don't know if I quite see, like, he had made the argument that it could be the best tight end room that the Cyclones have ever had, which I feel like is a big statement to make.
He's talking about running 3 tight ends out there. I don't know about all that.
Yeah, he wants to run like 5 tight ends out there, but I think calling it the best tight end room, at least at this point, is a bit of a stretch. It's hard to argue with that. That year that Charlie Kolar and what's his name, Chase Allen, were together, but I think the high end talent is there with Bramer. Obviously, be nice to get a healthy year out of Ben Bramer. He was always a really big pickup on the recruiting trail, but it doesn't feel like we've quite been able to see
Nebraska boy, mind you.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to the guys in the chat right now that are talking to me. I don't know if you can see it on your end.
No, I can't see
my boy Vic and Alex. What's up, guys? Appreciate you tuning in.
Yeah, I can't see the chat from here, so you'll have to keep an eye on that.
We'll have to figure out a way that we can integrate that so you can see it too.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, tight end room, you got Bramer, and then you've got decent guys like Burkle. Trip Walsh got a little bit of run last year when there was all those injuries. Another guy who was a big pickup on the recruiting show, Cooper Alexander, from Oklahoma. He really hasn't done a whole lot, so I know that Williams likes to hype him up. I'm not quite as high on the tight end room as others, but I don't necessarily think it's a make or break thing. I think they'll be fine. I just don't think they're quite as elite.
It's another one of those deals where you got to kind of wait and see, what they have planned for them. And that kind of leads into the wide receivers, who obviously we got to replace 2 NFL players in that room. So that could be tough, but I think they got 2 good guys coming in. One guy I know played with Beckton High School and Townsend, and then Sowell coming in from ECU. Could be an explosive guy.
Yeah, and you had said kind of wait and see with the tight ends, and I think that wait and see approach definitely applies to the wide receivers as well. It seems like there's a lot of talent there in that wide receiver room, but you're just not sure who's going to be the guy, who's going to be the kind of top guys. Obviously, like you said, it's looking like Townsend and Sowell are going to be the guys, but obviously you don't know what that's going to look like. Certainly, there's plenty of other guys that are. I guess there's the potential there for it to be a loaded room because you got Eli Green, you got Askelson, the kid from Utah, Dominic Overby. Carson Brown got some run last year. The big recruit Zay Robinson from West Des Moines Valley. I was watching one of Jake Brenn's videos and he had some good things to. Or I guess there was a day that he had filled in for Williams on one of those podcasts, and he had some good things to say about Zay Robinson. Obviously, Jake Brenn knows Zay Robinson very well from covering the CIML. And then one name to not forget for his last year coming back is Daniel Jackson. I think he blew out his knee or something last year. He's kind of the old man in the room now. He was shaping up to be kind of the third, probably like the third man behind Higgins and Knoll last year. So you said wait and see. I think it's going to be interesting to see who kind of separates themselves in that wide receiver room. That's got to be probably the most competitive room at this point of where you just don't really know where the chips are going to fall. But there's a lot of potential.
Let me ask you this. Do you want the ball first next Saturday, or would you rather take defense first?
That's a really good question. I mean, I know what Matt Campbell's going to say. Matt Campbell's going to want to play defense first. I think he likes having that as base. It's not a Matt Campbell thing. Pretty much any coach these days likes to have that
second half advantage at least.
Yeah.
So
I've even noticed, like, even playing the video games these days, if you win the coin toss, it pretty much automatically like makes you kick. At least last year in NCAA, I just thought it was kind of funny how the tides have kind of turned on the kick and receive thing. That's a whole other tangent, but yeah, I mean, I think you'd like to see I think in that situation when it's the first game of the season, it's against such a big opponent, there's going to be so many nerves. I think both teams are going to be pretty tight, and so I think you want to not waste an offensive possession when everyone's tight like that. So I'd say that you give a chance to let your defense do its thing. How about you? What would you do?
I want the damn ball and I want to score.
You want the
I want the
Matt
damn ball.
Hasselbeck. That didn't work out well for Matt Hasselbeck, but
well, yeah, nothing like that. But I gotta set 10, 15 plays, like they normally do. I kind of want to go down, script it out the way I see it, and I want to punch them in the mouth right away and kind of catch them off guard.
yeah, that's the other way to go about it. See if you can get. I know someone posted that Breece Hall run against Kansas State. I guess it would have been 2 years ago. First play from scrimmage, 75-yard touchdown run. See if
Abu Sama a couple years ago against Kansas State in the snow. Like
exactly, and that brings us to the running backs room. I think it's kind of interesting where when it comes to those running backs, it feels like there's been a lot of hype on the freshmen. Obviously, you've got the redshirt freshman and Dylan Lee, who's probably looking to be the kind of the third guy in that room. There's this kid, I don't even know who he is. I just hear Williams talking about him, this River Peppers kid from Independence, Missouri. He's a true freshman. Dylan Lee's a redshirt freshman, but this River Peppers kid has been getting a lot of talk. Aiden Flora even got a little bit of run last year, but as I put on our agenda here, it's still Sama's and Hanson's world. It's going to be those two getting the majority of the carries, you'd think. Obviously not a groundbreaking statement. So I guess it really, the most interesting story for me in that running backs room is if Sama can. He kind of had a little bit of a down year last year. Again, a little bit of a sophomore slump.
Yeah, I was going to say sophomore slump for him.
Yeah, and part of that was just that that Kansas State snow game was such an anomaly.
Absolutely.
It's like I don't want to like downplay the kid but it was just such a weird situation, and last year was kind of proof that maybe Sama wasn't quite as good as what that snow game indicated, but he's got a chance to show that he's not a flash in the pan, I guess is the way to put it there. So
well, he really proved
that's what it comes down to me.
Really proved in that game that Kansas State can't tackle. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen someone push off of him thinking that he was going to fall to the ground, and he didn't.
Yes, and it's also proof that it's hard to play football in the snow unless you've got the ball.
Love it. Need a snow game this year. Hopefully, we get a snow game this year.
Man, that was a hell of a game, man. That was a trip. So, anything else on the running backs?
I ain't got much. I think it's going to be the bell cows as it usually is, and I know the white boys are going to do us proud that they got back there. So,
and that brings us to the quarterback room, and obviously there's just not a whole lot of drama there. I think this is the first year where there really isn't any question as to what's going on there. It's just more of how big of a step is Rocco Becht able to take. Obviously, you've got a lot of people out there that think he could be a guy that leaves after this year to go to the draft. I'm not one of those guys at one point.
I'm on the fence right now.
I know, and like I said, I think we talked about this before, where I'd love to be wrong. I mean, I'd love to see him put those numbers out there to be in a position where he's jumping to the next level after his junior year. But that's it. Just he's got to make a jump. He's going to not have the receivers that he's used to having, and it's gonna be on him to do what this team needs to do.
Less pick sixes and a higher completion percentage. I think that's all they need from him.
Yeah, he's got to get that completion percentage back up. So it's Rocco Becht's show. Not a whole lot of drama with the backup situation either. It's gonna be Moberly as the backup. I know they like Alex Mansky, but he's gonna redshirt this year. But obviously with the redshirt rules being kind of loose, maybe he could get some run here and there. And then I don't think that the other two quarterbacks on the roster really factor in at all. So, and then that brings us last, but certainly not least, in a Matt Campbell football program.
Oh, the favorite of all Iowa State fans, the special teams.
Yeah, and I don't know about you. I was thinking this has to be the best that a Iowa State fan has to feel about their kicker and punter combination going into a season.
Since Tony Yelk.
You're gonna go all the way. I was thinking back to Cole Netton and Colin Downing was the two guys that I was thinking of.
Even then, it's been rough.
I don't know. Those two guys are pretty good. Netton. Well, I guess Netton and Downing wasn't. I don't think Netton and Downing was Netton Downing Campbell. I don't know. But I mean, obviously, it's the same two guys as last year, and Tyler Perkins and Kyle Conrady. But obviously, at this point last year, we didn't know what Conrady was going to be. So I think it's the best you felt out of those two guys for just a room that's been pretty hit and miss, especially in the kicking department. It's nice to finally get a solid kicker, and just kind of getting off of that, going to your returners. That'd be kind of interesting to see. I think it's going to be some combination of those wide receivers is who's going to be doing the kick return.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you know who's for sure going to be returning kicks this year? I haven't seen much on who they're going to have back there.
Yeah, I haven't either. I wanted to say that I believe Townsend returned some kicks at UCF, so he's probably looking to be the guy. I think Brend also said that Zay Robinson could be in the mix to return some kicks. And then I think he might have mentioned one of the running backs, one of the younger running backs, obviously not Hanson or Sama.
It's that true freshman you were talking about, I think.
Peppers,
I think Williams mentioned that he might be able to return kicks.
Yeah, so I believe those are the three guys that I've heard. Obviously, they haven't put out a two deep yet, so that'd be kind of interesting to see who's showing up there. So that's kind of your full breakdown of what this team is looking like, what the storylines are looking like. Just kind of anything from you generally on this Cyclones team.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
I'm ready to go. I've been waiting for next Saturday for months, and we're 7 days away.
Yeah, we sure are. So that's what I had on the Cyclones. Hopefully, I think next week we might get a little more specific to the game, obviously. So that's what I had. Did you have anything on your rundown that you wanted to pivot over to?
I just quickly wanted to hit some NFL points that I got here. I know Genty didn't have the greatest coming out party, albeit it's preseason, so everyone's kind of got everything up their sleeve. But 3 carries for -1 yards for a guy that was basically the runner-up in the Heisman. In my opinion, should have won the Heisman, but that can be another discussion to be had. But I kind of wonder what the Raiders' plan for him is. I know they got Bowers as a tight end. I don't know if you've seen, but he shaved his head. So okay. He came on home, as Barkley would like to say. So I know that they're going to be pretty heavy on him this year as far as throwing the ball, but I really kind of wonder how that's going to open up the offense for the Raiders overall.
Who's the Raiders quarterback?
It is. Ooh, that's a good question. It's Geno Smith. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because wasn't he like flipping off the crowd or something like that?
Yep, yeah. Because they had a Geno Smith, Jamarcus Russell sign.
Oh, did they really?
And I want to say John Gruden might be their coach.
Is it?
Is it Gruden?
No, I don't think so.
No way. Who's their coach? Hold on. Let's fact check this real quick.
Isn't it? That's not where Pete Carroll went, is it?
It is Pete Carroll. It is indeed Pete Carroll.
That is where Pete Carroll. Boy, I kind of forgot. I know that Pete Carroll went somewhere, but I was kind of forgetting. But yeah, it was Oakland, wasn't it? Or God, we keep saying Oakland, Las Vegas.
We're gonna keep calling them Oakland. I don't refer to them as the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, they need to go back to Oakland. I mean, this is something that maybe we can kind of pivot to is something I think you wanted to talk about, but I don't have much, but I can tee you up a little bit of what the fantasy scene is looking like, fantasy football. And I guess I would ask this question to you of who should be everyone's 1-1 pick this year. Who would you have? If you had the first pick in your fantasy draft, who would you take? Because I don't know. I don't follow this stuff. So,
well, I'm happy to report that I am not 1-1 in any draft that I'm in the couple big leagues. To be honest with you, I don't want the first pick ever. I know everyone always, or some people seem to fantasize over the first pick. The first pick to me is the least sexiest pick you can get because you pick once and then you don't pick again for, depending on the league size you're in, you don't pick for another 20 picks. So you might get the number one guy in the league, but then, you're kind of scrambling after that.
Don't dodge the question.
As far as who I would pick,
is it Barkley?
It's either Barkley, Bijan, or a combination of like a Chase or a Jefferson. I guess it really kind of depends on who you're going to put all your stock into.
Yeah, because I know back in the day, back when I was playing fantasy, which was like back when I was in middle school and high school, I haven't played fantasy in that long. It was all about the running back. You had to draft Chris Johnson as your first overall. But it seems like it's kind of gotten away from that, where you're more likely to pick a quarterback. Or like you said, pick a wide receiver, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, without having that much knowledge of fantasy, the name that would have come to me is Saquon Barkley. Although you kind of, I feel like it almost feels like he had too good of a year last year. Like there's no way that's going to happen again. And that's just where you kind of get in your own head about who you would pick, because I just don't know if Barkley has a season like that in him next year.
I just don't think there's anyone that's really, worth taking that high up. Personally, I'd rather be between 6 and 10, especially for like a snake draft. So you can get a top 10 guy, and then you can turn back around depending on who's out there. You still might be able to sneak in, a top 15. Rather than taking the number one overall guy, and then, you got to sit there and wait.
Mm-hmm.
And in the couple leagues I'm in a 2 quarterback league, just so everyone knows. And then I'm in just a single quarterback league. The 2 quarterback league, I think the quarterbacks are going to go pretty quickly. But the single quarterback leagues outside of like a Jackson or an Allen, quarterbacks usually aren't coming off the board until like round 5 or 6. It's all about your position players that are going to make or break you.
Gotcha. I guess kind of looking forward to this year, who is the quarterback that you'd be looking to the most?
I can tell you in one of the leagues I'm in, I hope none of these guys are watching this right now, but I'm looking at taking Jackson on my turn. I convinced this league to become a keeper league. I happened to draft Bowers. Happened to draft Bowers in the 8th round last year in this league. So in a keeper league, you'll draft a guy. So like I drafted him in the 8th round, and if you decide to keep him, they move up 2 rounds from where you drafted him. So he's officially my 6th round pick this year. So what I'm kind of looking at doing is going wide receiver, quarterback, a couple running backs, and then another wide receiver that first 5 rounds to fill out the offense.
Yeah, because the quarterback position gets kind of interesting once Jackson, Allen, and Hurts and maybe Mahomes are off the board. I don't know if Mahomes is really. He's kind of really
fallen off a little bit from what he was there. It is. Yeah. Don't want to say his peak because it's only year 9 or year 8 for him, but he's not as sexy as a pick as he was, 4 or 5 years ago. It's really between Jackson, Allen, and then Burrow kind of sneaks his way in there. And then after that, it's kind of a crapshoot. Everyone's putting up between 375 and 350 points. It just kind of depends on who you want and who you like. I know our boy
and obviously
Purdy's
there's a Purdy's in there. There's a couple of newcomers to that scene. You look at Jaden Daniels.
Bo
It
Nix,
seems like he's a Jaden Daniels is going to have Deebo Samuel now, so
and
that's kind of interesting.
Terry McLaurin. Don't forget about him.
Didn't he just ask for a trade? Is he actually gonna?
He did. I think he's just doing that so he get his money, which he deserves to be paid. He's been a top 15 wide receiver for 5 years now. He deserves his money. So pay the man, Washington, or let him go to someone that will pay him.
Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for Terry McLaurin because he's kind of the guy that was been there in Washington ever since they've really been bad. He's kind of turned into the Matt Stafford, what Matt Stafford was to Detroit. Terry McLaurin is that Washington team where he was always kind of their darling player when they were really shitty. So it would be too bad to see that couple break up. So it'd be nice if McLaurin
I don't think he's going anywhere. I think this is kind of a money play for him, personally.
So, but yeah, just kind of getting back to quarterbacks. I'm going to use that to pivot into my other agenda item, and that's my boy.
Give me a sell here. Give me a sell here. Yeah, sell me on your boy.
So as folks may have seen, my boy Jordan Love had thumb surgery this past couple of days ago. It was on his left thumb, non-throwing hand. So, but it's interesting because it really seems like it's a make or break year for that Packers offense. Where, I mean, they've done well. Obviously, they've had some really good performances, but it just
feels like. Do you like this rookie that they drafted, this wide receiver, Golden?
I mean, yeah, I've heard really good things about him. I don't like that he picked the number 22. I think it's really weird to have a wide receiver number 22. It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's really is a make or break year for that wide receiver room, and that's another room that's had injury troubles. I saw that Watson's been hurt, Dontavian Wicks has been hurt, Dobbs was hurt, Watson
Reed's always hurt,
but he's hurt again, and I think Reed was hurt as well. So that's like you're looking at a quarterback wide receiver room combination that's really heading into a make or break year, and they're starting out with all these injuries. So it makes you a little bit nervous, but I don't know, man. So as a Packer fan, I'm a little nervous.
It seems like they got like 4 or 5 number 2s. Like they don't have
that's a really good
guy that is ready to make that step. That's why I'm kind of really curious to see what Golden can do, and maybe he'll shake it up, and then everyone else can fall into their role. But like, I mean, Reed had some big games last year. Had him in a couple leagues. He definitely won me a couple games that I really needed him to ball out in. But then, he's also just as inconsistent as, Watson had some big games. Wicks had some big games. But then, there are other weeks where they just all completely disappear. And, there's not really anyone that's really kind of taken over the role of the wide receiver one.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I couldn't agree more, where there's really good quality depth kind of across the board, but they just haven't been able to see that number one guy. I think your best potential at this point is Jaden Reed, and that's where, I mean, I wouldn't have hated if they decided to kind of package some of those guys to get a number one receiver. I would have really liked to see them try to get Devontae Adams back, but obviously, you're going to have the privilege of watching.
That's right, baby. Play, that's right.
Very, very jealous of that. So it would have been, it totally would have been the non-Green Bay Packer thing to do, is just to spend big for an aging wide receiver. So I kind of get why Brian Gutekunst didn't do it, but there's just,
who would you go after if they were to package something together to try and get somebody? Who's the one guy that you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Adams is the number one guy that I would have looked at. Otherwise, I'm trying to think of some of the other guys that were kind of getting dangled out there.
You think Garrett Wilson would be available for the right price?
That's interesting as well. Having Garrett Wilson, I think that would have been very pricey. Would have been a very pricey. Would have been a high price tag to get Wilson away from the Jets. But yeah, I think that would have been really an interesting proposition. Let's see, just kind of looking, like, I don't know if they could have gotten Calvin Ridley from Tennessee. I think that was a guy that's interesting.
Not a Calvin Ridley fan.
Not a Calvin Ridley fan.
I can
Okay.
tell y'all right now, I will not be drafting Calvin Ridley, even if my life depended on it.
Or getting like Jerry Jeudy from Cleveland.
I kind of really wonder what his upside is. I really wonder how committed to the game he is, because at times he can be really good, and then it seems like there are some games where he just kind of checks out and he's not really fully.
Talking about Jeudy?
Yeah, talking about Jeudy.
Yeah. So Packers decided they didn't want to go that route, so we'll just kind of have to see. So, like I said, maybe it's time for Jayden Reed to step up. Maybe he can turn into like a Deebo Samuel type of player. I think that's kind of really where you have to look, and like you mentioned too is Golden. So I don't know. It's a maker. I don't know if it's a make or break here for the Packers, but you really need to see something out of those guys, and it's just not up to a good start when you see those many guys in injury report. So
who do you got for a tight end over there?
We got Tucker Kraft. What's his name? Musgraves. It's not Luke Musgraves. Yeah, I think Luke Musgraves.
Yeah, Luke Musgraves. Yep.
And Tucker Kraft. And Tucker Kraft is looking to be the real deal. So I'm pretty happy with how the tight end room is shaping up. So I feel good about that. Tucker Kraft and Jayden Reed are kind of the stalwarts in that.
Yeah, Jayden Reed was actually a top 10 guy before he kind of faltered there towards the end of the year last year. He was a big time sleeper.
Yeah, he was putting up pretty good numbers.
Hey, before we continue, I just want to say shout out my boy Brody. He just commented on the chat here that I'm looking at.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there anything going on? I feel like we need to, if anybody in the chat has a question for us, I feel like the past couple of shows at the end we've like, oh, we should have entered.
Yeah, now's the time to tune in, boys. If you got something you want to ask that we can hit with. I know Vic can't be here with us tonight. I know he's probably watching. He wanted me to bring up the NBA Hall of Fame. They just announced the class of 26 or the class of 25, whatever you want to call it. Who do you think?
I didn't even see.
Who do you think would be in the Hall of Fame class for the NBA?
How many years ago did these guys retire?
I think you got to wait 5 years.
5.
There's a big name. There's one big name on here for sure. Oh, there's a couple big names, but there's one.
This is good. I like this. I like this guessing. Would this be around the time that Steve Nash would be getting into the NBA Hall of Fame?
I think he's already in.
I think he's already in there. I might have gone too far back there. 5 years ago.
So you're looking at like 2020, 2021, I think would be the last year they played.
Could that mean Dwayne Wade?
I think he's up for it next year.
So just a little bit for Dwayne Wade. To tell me the team.
He played for a couple teams.
He played for multiple teams. Just tell me one of the teams he played for.
He played for the well, if I tell you the team, you're gonna know who it is right away. The Nuggets.
Oh, is it Melo?
Yep.
Okay.
Melo's in.
I guess that makes sense.
There's another decent name. He played for the Lakers towards the end of his career.
Played for the Lakers towards the end of his career.
He's a champion. Considered a champion.
He's considered a champion. He played for the Lakers towards the end of his career. It wouldn't be Pau Gasol. That'd be going too far back. Pau Gasol's played for the Lakers.
Oh, Bakes is telling me Wade made it in 23.
Oh, really? Okay. It's not Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard's not.
It is Dwight Howard.
It is Dwight. Does Dwight Howard have a ring?
What? Yeah, he won a ring with the Lakers. He
was on the Lakers.
Yeah, he was on the bubble team.
I used to love Dwight Howard. He used to be my guy. He's the reason why I'm such a big Adidas guy now. Is that he always used to wear those Adidas Power Web sleeves that made him look like the freaking Terminator. I used to love Dwight Howard with the magic is Superman. Yeah. Oh my God, I love Dwight Howard. And his personality. It was kind of too bad to see him fall off a little bit there. He was so much fun, man. He was kind of did to himself, but nonetheless, he was fun to watch when he was
when he was in his prime.
Yeah. Yeah,
chopped down the LeBron tree.
Went to the Rockets, I believe, for a little bit. And I think he ended up.
I think he played with the Lakers twice. I think he left Orlando to go to the Lakers, and that didn't work out so well. And that's when his whole brand kind of fell off a little bit.
I think he's probably the last great American basketball player who didn't go to college. I don't think there really was anyone after him, because I think they changed the rule, didn't they?
Yeah, they changed the rule slightly after that, after the Sebastian Telfairs.
He was kind of the last guy that didn't go to college to make a really big career of himself at the NBA level. Obviously, there's a bunch of foreign guys, but I don't think there's really anyone after Dwight Howard, because there was plenty before that. Obviously, Kobe, LeBron, guys who skipped college. Kevin Garnett didn't go to college.
Yeah, Kevin Garnett didn't go to college. There's one more, I can't think of his name. But speaking of college, there's a guy that was a college coach that coached in the NBA that also made it. Think who it is?
College coach who coached in the NBA. I guess, was he a bigger deal in college or the NBA?
He was a big time deal in college.
Is this the Basketball Hall of Fame or the NBA Hall of Fame?
It's the NBA Hall of Fame, but
so
it also includes some WNBA players.
I mean, because obviously, a big time college coach who ended up coaching at the NBA level. I don't think this is what the name of that. John Beilein is who I was thinking of, but that's probably not who it is. Otherwise, I would have think of Billy Donovan.
There you go.
Oh, it is Billy Donovan. Okay, interesting. You always wonder if Billy Donovan's ever going to make the jump back to college, but the timing is always tough for an NBA head coach to make it back down to college. I think he's done. God, where is he? He's with the Bulls. Is he still coaching the Bulls? I think he's still coaching. I thought he was going to I thought he was going to turn that thing around in Chicago.
Dick, if you want to chime in here, you might know more about this off the top of your head than me.
Obviously, he's not with the Thunder anymore. So,
well, that's the only place I remember him coaching at. He is coaching.
I think he's with the Bulls.
Look at you. He is the head coach of the Bulls.
Yeah. Let's see. Did he go straight?
He's just getting his team pillaged for pennies on the dollar right now.
Boy, he just kind of fell off there. He was hot shit when he was at Florida.
Should have never left.
No, he shouldn't have. Because he'd be making it big in this college game. He was paying players before it was cool.
Well, I was gonna say, well, you wonder how some of these guys would last nowadays. Now that everyone can kind of pay him over the table rather than under the table.
Yeah, I think Billy Donovan's the guy who would have thrived in the NIL era.
And then a couple more.
Any other half?
Yeah, a couple more names to run over. Sue Bird, Maya Moore, and Sylvia Fowles. Dick and I were having a tough time pronouncing her last name, so my bad if I mispronounced that.
Shout out to her and her family.
One more thing I wanted to touch on with you is the 2K downhill slide for NBA.
That's an NBA 2K, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it, but rather than getting better gameplay and kind of more fluid, feedback, you now get a Team Morant in the game.
I was gonna say, I saw that they just keep putting in these cheesy little features where you can see Ja Morant's dumbass dad on the sideline. I didn't even know that he was a thing. Does that mean we'll get to see Tyrese Halliburton's dad on the side on the sidelines?
I don't know. You see him in front of Giannis there, waving the flag at the end of games. Man, I don't know.
No, you're right.
It's just
they made a big deal about how you're gonna get these interactive banners now if you win championships, and it's just these cheesy generic banners if you win the 2032 NBA championship in your franchise or whatever.
Yeah, who gives a shit? I just want a game where I can shoot the ball and it's easy. And now you got a green rebounds and all this shit. I don't know if you've seen the trend on Twitter.
Green rebounds.
Yeah, you can green rebounds now.
Interesting.
So they're just I don't know. They're just you have to green layups as well.
Sure.
So it's not just an automatic layup anymore. If you get close to the rim, you gotta green the layups.
I think obviously a game that used to be in my wheelhouse that I haven't played in like 10 years is MLB The Show. I think they've kind of gone that way where they've just kind of overdeveloped the game where just like I think if you like catch a ground ball, you have to there's like a meter to properly field the ground ball, and there's a meter to properly throw the ball to first base. And it's like
it's a damn video game. It's supposed to be fun to play. Like I should be able to win 90-0 without having to, in football, I should be able to win 90-0 if I want to, or play a close game if I'm playing a good team. Like
I don't get those people who play MLB The Show and they use like the aim mode to hit. I always use zone batting where if I just time it right, then it's gonna square it up. It's just,
I mean, to me, that's how a game should be. It's a damn game. I used to really enjoy the NHL games back in like 2012, 2013, 2011. Yeah. And then they made it like real skating. So like you wouldn't be able to just kind of like skate around the ice. Like you had to make like real life moves in order to like even get any momentum or anything like that. And it just takes away like the video game aspect of it.
Yeah, there's just been an overcommitment to realism, and I think it's kind of backfired. And yeah, I know it's why a lot of people our age just aren't really that interested in video games anymore. It's just it's too hard to pick up the game and play it. You really have to dedicate your life with it to figure it out. So yeah, it's an interesting point of just the overdevelopment of these sports video games.
Yeah, it's kind of sad to see where they were 15 years ago, and yeah, no, and they have seasons now. Simpler. They don't. It's not just the game anymore. They now have seasons that come within the game. I just found that out last week. Shout out to
I know that like Call of Duty's kind of like that. Call of Duty's got all these different stupid. I don't play Call of Duty this year, but they got all these stupid seasons and stuff like that, and all the DLC and things. Oh God, it's brutal.
It's a money grab. It's all a money grab anymore.
Yeah, I just want to get nukes and camp out with my intervention.
I work 10 hours a day. I don't want to come home and have to study a damn video game so I can play and have fun, and then get frustrated with it and turn it off real quick. Like I just want to.
That's kind of what I used to say about the reason why I don't play MLB The Show anymore. Is that I used to play that thing like it was my job, and now that I have an actual job, I can't play MLB The Show anymore.
Exactly.
Like yeah. So yeah, it's a damn shame.
Couple quick questions I'm going to hit you with. Are the Lions going to be the real deal this year?
Are the Lions going to be the real deal? I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, I don't think they turned over a whole lot player wise. Now the interesting thing is they're not going to have those two coordinators. So I guess I don't know the answer, but it'll kind of show you. Yeah, because both the coordinators are gone. Ben Johnson
is now the coach in Chicago.
And then Aaron Glenn is the coach of the Jets now. So I think that's the interesting thing to look at is it'll kind of let you know how much of the Lions' success was attributed to those guys. I think there's probably an understanding that Dan Campbell can figure things out on the defensive side of the ball. It's just if Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown are able to still do their thing without Ben Johnson. Certainly I hope that the Lions are still good without Ben Johnson, if it means that Ben Johnson isn't a good coach, because I'd love to see, obviously, as usual, I'd love to see the Chicago Bears fail. But yeah, that's a really good question. If the Lions are the real deal, my gut instinct says they probably are. But that's the big storyline is how much of those coordinators matter.
You were talking earlier about who's up there for the 1-1 in fantasy. Jahmyr Gibbs is in that conversation in a lot of leagues.
Yeah.
He's gone anywhere. I've seen in some mocks from 1-1 to 1-4 or 1-5. So
yeah, that's a good call. He could be, I don't know if I'd call him a sleeper, but yeah, kind of the guy that's not necessarily the clear front man. He could be a good slightly under the radar pick, Jahmyr Gibbs.
I wouldn't take him if I had a top 4 pick. I just wouldn't want a top 4
yeah,
pick.
just too many questions at this point. But yeah, he could end up having a pretty decent year.
What else do I got on here? Are you sold on Travis Hunter?
That's interesting. Have they said much? I don't think they've said much about what he's gonna do. I haven't really followed it that much because I think kind of the consensus was that he's a better cornerback, but obviously he wants to play wide receiver because it's kind of the sexier position. So, I mean, yeah, I think I'm sold. I think I'm sold on him for now. So it'll just be kind of interesting to see how he gets deployed. If he's able to kind of keep up on both. I do know. I assume the plan is to try to play him on both sides of the ball. I haven't really followed. I know Madden's set up to be a two-way player.
I'm not really sure about what they plan on doing with him. I know he's not playing in their preseason game either tonight or tomorrow. He's got a upper body injury. They haven't disclosed what it is, but I know they're holding him out of their second preseason game. Yeah. Have you been following his domestic situation?
I've been kind of looking at. Hold on, just a quick caveat. I just wanted to bring this up. We've been having the issue with Oakland and the Raiders, and the reason why I've been having this issue is that ESPN is enabling me because I put in Oakland, and it still gives me the Las Vegas
Raiders. And it also gives you the Athletics.
Yeah, well, they're actually. Well, yeah, that's a good point. They're not even. I didn't even realize that they don't even have a city. They're just the Athletics. I kind of forgot that.
I stayed in that hotel in Vegas that they tore down, the Tropicana. I stayed in that hotel about 3 years ago.
So that means that the first 4 teams on this list do not actually play sports in Oakland, California, because I believe the Oakland Golden Grizzlies, I believe they play basketball in the state of Michigan. I believe they're in Oakland, Michigan. And I have no idea who the Oakland Roots of the U.S. I believe that's a lacrosse team. Do they play in Oakland? Let's see. Or maybe it's a soccer team. I don't know. Do they actually play? They play in Sacramento. And they don't even. So all 5. If you go to ESPN and you search for Oakland, the first 5 teams that they show you do not play sports in the city of Oakland. Anyway,
well, they technically don't even. If you look up in the standings this year, they don't even say where the A's are from. It just says the Athletics, because they're playing in some AAA small town stadium. I want to say they're playing in Sacramento this year while they're waiting for their stadium in Las Vegas to be built.
That sounds right. Yeah, that's kind of sad. Like, because there's basically 2 teams right now that are just like playing out of these like pointless. Because the Rays are doing the same thing.
Yep. Well, yeah. Because
on the standings it says just A instead of OAK, it's ATA.
Yep.
That's really
horrible.
Did they do the same thing for the Rays? No, they said the Rays is Tampa Bay. That's right, because the Rays aren't going anywhere. They're just waiting for their place to get fixed, I think. Anyway, I went on a tangent there, but yes, Travis Hunter. I don't really know. I'm looking forward to watching it. I feel like it could work, but it just seems like if he wants to be effective on both sides of the ball, he's going to have to pick a side. But I mean, because in football you can really come in and out at your leisure, he can probably figure it out. It's just how effective or how much is he going to play on each side of the ball.
Well, you got to kind of figure out what downs you want to play him on, and how you're going to utilize him. You can't send him out there on 50 offensive snaps and only give him the ball 10 times. If you're going to put him out there 30 times, you better find a way to get the ball to him at least 20.
Yeah. What else? Anything else for us?
Yeah, the last thing I got here is the Shedeur Sanders situation. We can't leave this stone unturned.
Yeah, that was kind of unfolding during our last show. He came out there for the Cleveland Browns and he had a decent game. I mean, I don't think it was anything too crazy, but it's yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how that'll shake out, because I feel like the Cleveland Browns starting quarterback position, that's kind of wide open, I believe, because Watson busted his Achilles, and the Cleveland Browns quarterback room is a very interesting quarterback room. There's a lot of guys. They got Joe Flacco's in the Browns.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
And then you got Dylan Gabriel from Oregon. Tyler Huntley, he's kind of a journeyman backup. Kenny Pickett, is in there. Obviously, Shadur Sanders, and then obviously Deshaun Watson. So that's kind of an interesting group of guys. Where I mean, I guess at this point, Sanders has to be the front runner. Obviously, it's very early.
You know where he sits on their depth chart currently? They just released a depth chart after their game the other night.
Where's he at?
Number 4 on the depth chart.
Number 4. Oh yes, I see that now. They got Flacco as a starter. Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, Sanders. That just seems kind of trolling.
I don't know. I think Joe Flacco's loving all of this. I think that might be. I think that might be Sanders' vet is Joe Flacco, because when he was throwing those touchdowns and whatnot, he was loving it on the sideline.
He was. So I guess, who do you think week 1? Who's the Browns starting quarterback?
Oh God, you could throw a dart to a board and it could be either one of those guys.
I think I'll commit to Sanders. I think it's going to be Shadur Sanders.
I don't think you're going to see Sanders until week 8. I think everything is going to have to go horribly wrong for him to see the field, because the owner and the GM are already coming out pointing fingers about who was the reason that he got drafted. So then it really makes you wonder what was said behind the scenes in the NFL, because I actually don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think
no, I mean he's got good accuracy, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I think you're going to see Flacco out the gate. I think you'll maybe get 5 or 6 games out of Flacco, and if he does well, I don't think he's going to come off the field. But I think
maybe so.
Either that, or it's going to be all the outside noise that forces the Browns' hands to have to play Sanders. But I don't necessarily know if he's going to see the field this year, especially if they got him at number 4 on their depth chart currently. But who knows how accurate that is? You know, everyone's bullshitting right now and, you know, trying to get the upper hand on everyone else, and, you know, not really tipping their cap.
Yeah, I don't read much in that depth chart. Like, I think it's crazy to think that Gabriel would be above Sanders. I mean, maybe there's a world where I think it could make sense where Sanders is the third guy, because then obviously Flacco has the most experience, then comes Pickett.
I can't imagine Dillon Gabriel sees the field before Sanders. I think
he can't even see over his offensive line
if that happens.
Yeah, he's too small. He's too small.
Well, you got anything else that you want to hit on tonight, or are you ready to land the plane?
Oh, no, I think we're going to deploy the landing gear here, and let's bring this thing home.
All right, before we go, I do want to kind of throw it out there. Potentially, we might be live as a duo next Friday if everything works out in our favor. You could get the both of us together at the same time in the same place, doing the same thing. So, kind of keep your eyes open for that.
A certain undisclosed location.
Yeah, it's gonna be in our underground bunker that nobody's gonna know where it's at.
Yes, so a lot. Either way, no matter where we are, we're gonna have a lot of fun breaking down the Kansas State Iowa State game.
Buddy, I can't wait.
Previewing.
I can't wait. Yeah, we'll be able to dig in finally, and next Friday night, college football is officially here. So, gear up, everybody. It's about to be a hell of a ride this year. Can't wait to share it with you.
Looking forward to it.
All right, my boy. I'm gonna let you go ahead and take the honors this week.
All right, for the both of us, thanks for listening or watching or whatever you guys do. Thanks for watching us live, and we'll see you next time, maybe in person. Have a good one.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
See you, dude.
Peace out, brother.